This embroidery machine, when I got that barely made it down the stairs. Like it was like me risking the whole embroidery machine just to get it down here.
Squeegee Podcast Season 2. This podcast is sponsored by Blind Maggot, Magna Colours, M&R, Target Transfers, and Adobe Creative Suite.
My name is Bhavik Dhanak, and I'm 23 years old, and I've been running my own screen print and embroidery studio out of my parents' basement for it's coming to 6 years now. Once we hop into 2023, it's going to be 6 years.
Cool.
And yeah, I've just been banging out screen prints from here, and obviously it didn't start like this. It all started from like very humble beginnings, and then it all just grew into what it is now.
Yeah. You've also done so much stuff. Like, I need to talk to you about the brand, which is like Grind and Glory. Is that right? And
No Grind, No Glory. Yeah.
Oh, No Grind, No Glory. Ugh.
Yeah.
I didn't see that bit. And then like the shop and that there's so many things that you're working on like simultaneously. Like, what do you think gets the most of your time? Do you think it's printing for Aesthetic Imprints, or what are you focusing on this coming year, do you reckon?
Honestly, it's so hard to like choose which one gets the most attention, because recently I did just open up that retail storefront. So the goal for that was for me I was basically trying to transition out of the basement into a shop. That was the whole goal of that. And then we just so happened to get a retail storefront. Now, some backstory on that is me, my family, we've always owned a retail clothing store. It's always been like urban streetwear clothing that we just always bought and then resold. That's always been a thing. While my dad and parents ran that store, I've just been down here in the basement growing the wholesale side. So what we've basically been doing is it's basically two different businesses. One's retail, one's wholesale. They've been doing their thing on the retail side of things. And I kind of started this wholesale side of the business 6 years ago out of the basement, and I've been growing that. So now when it came to time for me to look for shops, I've been looking for shops around here, and it's so hard, because when you find a shop, they want like an arm and a leg for rent, and it's like, I can't afford that. That's just going to be too much. It's just going to be me putting too much overhead on top of my head. But at the same time, I want to move out and get a shop, because at some point you have to take the next step, because in order to grow, the basement was becoming a huge limitation to me, because in order for me to get a new press, new anything, it couldn't come down here, because the way the basement is set up, the only way down here is through the stairs. And that's like, it's not the best. I mean, this embroidery machine, when I got that barely made it down the stairs. Like it was like me risking the whole embroidery machine just to get it down here.
They always do though, don't they? Just by like a centimeter, like somehow.
Exactly. But the thing is, it's so heavy, and like to carry it down, it's like impossible. I actually have a video of bringing this thing down, and we didn't even carry it down. We basically just slid it down like you would, like you're going snowboarding. You just slid it down, and it was a scary thing, but it made it. But now what I'm struggling to do is export the equipment from here to the new shop. So everything's just been all over the place lately. There's just so much going on. The store, setting that up, and then trying to fulfill all the orders in the screen print side here in order for me to shut down to be able to move over there. So it's all just been a whole back and forth deal with that.
So you've kind of like run against space being your limitation. So do you not think like you can actually like print more in there if you had some help, like if you managed to employ, or what is your team like? Is it just you?
Honestly, right now it's literally just me doing everything from A to Z. The reason I did need to start needing help, and my best help was probably my mom. You know, she'd always come down here and help me. She's like the best person at the end of the conveyor dryer to fold and stack everything up. So whenever she came down, I was like, yes. So she's been the best help. But obviously I want to hire help, like get somebody actually on board to like help me do screens or help me talk to customers or just some day-to-day things, but I couldn't really do that. I didn't really want to have people coming to my parents' house and then like them knowing everything, like the location. It's just a household thing. I just didn't want to do that in the house. I really wanted to take the next step and move into an actual spot and then do that there instead of having random people come to the house. So the whole goal behind this new store is, once I'm fully set up in there, is to obviously start hiring and building out a team, because that's what I've been lacking. And really, it's just starting to lead to burnout and getting really tiring when you're doing everything all at once. I'm sure you know exactly what I mean there.
Yeah, no, 100%. So in the back, I understand your dilemma as well, because we're in a similar situation where we're too big for this setup, and we have to like reconfigure the space all the time for things like filming, like you do your YouTube as well. And then the premises are so big that you'd have to hire a massive team to justify it. So there needs to be some like little in-between step, doesn't there? So that's probably why you're going for the back room of the shop that you're going for. Yeah, it's really tricky. Everyone's got their pressure that they're under at the moment. Yeah.
It's a tricky spot. Growing a business is just hard in and of its own. You really don't know until you get into a business, and then you have to start growing. And it's the growing pains, I would say.
Yeah. But I get the feeling that your whole family is self-employed. Have they been like a big help with like structuring the business? And
No.
Yeah,
go. So not the whole family's unemployed. So I have two brothers. They're both older brothers. They're both obviously went the college route and then got the 9-to-5 job. So we're just opposites when it comes to that. I'm the only son that's the self-employed business, interested in the business stuff, which I mean, I have no regrets. I love what I do. I would obviously rather build my own business than to go work a 9-to-5 building somebody else's. And then there comes my dad and my mom. So we've had a store for about 10 to 11 years. It's really just been nothing like it hasn't been nothing official. It's just really just a family owned mom and pop shop type of deal. It's just, we just had retail clothing in there. It's nothing like organized or like set into stone. It's really just run as is. Now, what I decided to do is take that over. So when we moved into this new store, we moved into a mall that's closer to us. So before we had to commute, my dad and mom, whenever they go to the store, they would have to commute 45 minutes to the mall. So now we looked into this mall that's in Frederick. So I'm located in Frederick. Now there's a mall in Frederick, which is just 10 to 15 minutes away from this house. And our idea was to get a storefront, which is bigger in the retail side. And then now it's going to have a back room as well. So it's like, we're going to technically, we're like cheating the system and running two businesses in one location. So we have a retail storefront in the front where people can come buy retail clothing as they do in a mall. You just come buy hoodies, t-shirts, whatever you want. And then now, little do they know, in the back, it's going to be full custom production. So that's the goal of that. And then the idea of having the retail storefront coming under my name, which is Aesthetic Imprints, is to grow the brand side of things. So now I'm dabbling into trying to grow a clothing brand and doing the wholesale side. And it's it's definitely a battle, because you know what they say, like once you start doing custom production, it's hard to start building your own clothing brand, because when the custom production orders come in, you don't know which one to prioritize, whether it's like, oh, we need more of these hoodies in the retail store, but I got to get this guy's orders out too. So it's like, I've been battling between that, like trying to organize it the best way I can. But my main goal with this is to like make it possible to offer both custom apparel printing and doing your own brand at the same time.
Yeah. I haven't been able to straddle those two very well. Like it's
so hard.
I've had to push down the commercial so much that I see that you've got like a 24-piece minimum, but ours is like cherry picking. It has to be a perfect job for us to stop doing Blind Maggot stuff now.
Yeah.
we're getting more and more picky and more difficult to actually get for us to print for you. So yeah, like no new customers basically.
Right. Now it's definitely, I hear you on it. So what's your minimum? Or it's just whatever you choose, huh?
It's not really the minimum, it's the customer.
So Blind Maggot is your
Clothing brand. Yeah.
clothing brand. So is that what you do most of?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's because so basically Blind Maggot was made so that we can make our YouTube videos and have really good content for them. So if we want to show how to do a 6-color print with water-based ink, either we'd have to wait for a customer to ask for that, or we do it for Blind Maggot. So that's how it started. And then it just gets its own thing. Like you start selling them and then it just like rolls on from there, and it becomes more of your work than the commercial stuff. So now it's more of our time on that and hardly anything commercial. And it's more fun, and it's less to and fro on emails and keeping customers happy. It's really tricky. I know exactly what you're talking about, but it's hard.
It's rough, but it's way more fun to do your own, isn't it?
Especially if you've got your own retail store there to be able to sell it relatively consistently. I don't know. How are you finding, like, you're putting your own like rail in there and seeing how it performs against the other stuff, or how are you managing the selling?
Right. So exactly. So we're like these hoodies. I just print up some cool little designs that I like. And stuff that I like is basically apparel with meaning. So I like to add a little bit of a quote here and there, and then obviously the no grind, no glory. That's like the biggest mantra I go by, and I love it. And customers, believe it or not, in the retail store really love that saying. So whenever they see it on like tracksuits or like hoodies, it's like, oh, I like the no grind, no glory, because it's like it's a powerful message in there. So I'm really trying to push that and grow the aesthetic brand.
Yeah, I think we both listen to the same music as well, because I hear Drake on almost all of your posts, and I'm like, I love that song. I love that song. And if that's going in, it's subliminally all of that kind of like graft, work hard, get your money, like be a good person. All of that kind of stuff goes in if you're listening to it enough.
Right. Yeah, I think music is music can definitely define you, because like whatever you're listening to, it's speaking to you. Like, it's like, I think music has a big part in, if you listen to it, it has a big part in what you do, especially what they say. So I definitely try to listen to some positive music, especially music with some motivation, or like music with actual meaning. And it's not just like party this, party that, etc.
Yeah. And it's coming across even in your designs, which I think is funny, but then it comes across in the videos and all this kind of stuff. So something I noticed recently was I follow, like, the business stuff is quite separate from your YouTube, and then you don't actually advertise your YouTube on your business side. Like, what was the thought there, and like, why are you keeping them quite separate?
So are you referring to like the Aesthetic Imprints and then the YouTube channel?
Yeah.
So I don't really advertise the YouTube channel on my Instagram page as much. It really started that way. So the way I started YouTube was really just like put a camera on my face and go. Now, the biggest fear people have when starting a YouTube channel is people are going to laugh at me. My close friends are going to laugh at me. I'm on camera. It's going to get 0 views. It's going to get nothing. So the way I started my YouTube channel 2, 3 years ago was I didn't tell anybody about the channel. I just put up a name, started making videos, and just started posting. I didn't advertise it on Instagram. I didn't tell any of my family members. I didn't tell anybody that I was making videos. So I just kind of let that part of it grow organically. And the reason I did that was because it knocks out that fear of somebody else making fun of you or something. Like, you know, when you post a video and nobody watches it, or none of your friends say anything about it or give you any feedback, it's like, wow, I'm gonna just give up. But what I did was just knock that out and just post YouTube videos and don't care what anybody says, don't care what anybody thinks, or didn't promote it, and just let YouTube do its thing. Obviously, it didn't start off the best, but slowly here and there, I just started doing it consistently and just didn't tell anybody until I got 1,000 subscribers is finally when I opened up and like posted my first post on Instagram, like, hey, I've been making YouTube videos. Here it is. And ever since then, I've just really stayed like that. On YouTube, I just post the content. I don't really promote it as much on my Instagram page, which I think I should. But here's the thing, everyone on my Instagram or all the inquiries that I get, the number one reason, because I have a form and then I try to ask them, where did you find out about me? And the number one feedback is YouTube, because they say I've watched your videos. So like they're already finding me on YouTube and then going to the Instagram and then doing that. So the reason I don't really promote it is, of course, I didn't want to like give up or have anybody make fun of me because it wasn't going the best. And then now it's like starting to do better, but I do need to be a little bit better and start posting it on Instagram, but I just don't, which I should.
Well, why should you if it's got over like, is it like 12 and a half or something that I saw today? Something like that.
I think
but
it's about 12 and a half.
Yeah, but it starts, I think maybe it is separate. Like mine's quite integrated because that's just what we do. We're like teaching and stuff. But what kind of angle do you think works best for your videos? Because from like watching them, I'm seeing like a lot of day in the life of videos, but then you're also kind of getting into like the teaching. So what kind of videos do you enjoy doing, or are you doing them to get more views or just to like track and make a kind of like online diary of what you're doing?
Believe it or not, the reason I started the YouTube channel was really just to document my journey and growth, because I want to be able to, like, 10 years from now, let's say I have that big auto shop and like I could go back to these videos and see like, whoa, those were the days in the basement. Or like, if anybody is curious to know how Aesthetic Imprints got where he is now, it's like, go back to the YouTube videos and watch, because there's days when he was in the basement, there's days when he built this wall, or there's days when he moved from the basement to the new retail store. It's like all of this is going to be documented, and that's the main reason why I'm doing it. But at the same time, I want to help these other viewers that are actually trying to get into this business or learn more about the business, see the process of growing this, or see what goes inside and out of growing the entire business. And people really, it's the feedback that I've been getting in the comments is like, people love to see the behind the scenes and the day in the life and the documentation of it. So it's like, I'm just going to stick to it and just be raw, just put a camera on my face and just keep doing the day in the life. And then there's obviously some YouTube comments that are going to give you suggestions on some videos to make. So it's like, I just, if I like something, I'll just make a video out of it or something like that. But mainly it's just me documenting the journey and the process. And it's really bringing me in more business as well, because people love to see it. And honestly, that's probably where I get a lot of my business from, is, believe it or not, YouTube, just from me teaching or giving away the how to even screen print. It's like, you would never think that would bring you business, but it does. It's like weird. I didn't see this coming, but now it's like, it does happen.
Yeah. And then you're thinking, how are these poor bastards who don't have a YouTube channel or an Instagram or a TikTok, how are they doing it? Are they just relying on contract print jobs where they're like, so like with contract, I've kind of figured out recently that when they do that, they're not making any money on the garments at all. The margins are really tight.
Right.
You're being like worn down by them, and they're trying to reduce the contract and increase the like it's just like, it looks like a difficult industry to be in, and it's almost very separate from what we're doing, like direct to customer. Yeah, but then they're just relying on that. Whereas if you look at the stream of like inquiries that me and you are getting on our like separate businesses, I'm having to actually like push jobs to like other local studios because it's not something that fits in with us. But I just don't know how they're generating inquiries without.
That's my question as well, because that's exactly my question. I wonder the same thing, because there's some big companies out there that don't make any content, but it's like they probably have all these contracts with big companies already locked in, where they don't even need to make content because they don't want the regular old 24-piece shirt job versus where they have like probably thousands of pieces of jobs,
Yeah.
which is great. I mean, I think it's just a different way that they have, like you said, the contract side.
That's difficult though, because from our perspective of being manual printers, we're looking at them and seeing how much they're doing, but it's nothing to do with us. It's a completely different industry. They're doing contract printing. It's a completely different beast, and it's like nothing that we can actually relate to, but we think it's like just what we're doing but magnified, but it's not really. That's kind of what I'm figuring out, but yeah,
it's hard. Because with that side of things, you really have to be dialed in, because every time, every minute matters, because there's not a lot of room to mess up there, and you don't make as much money. So actually, I'm wrong. I mean, you might make way more money, but you really have to have an auto or something to help you get jobs done faster versus us manual printers. It takes a little bit more time with us.
Yeah, but every shirt we print, we get more money per shirt by far, because I think that's true, because our overheads are so small that even if we went for like a month or something without any jobs, we wouldn't go under. Do you know what I mean?
And that's what I love. Love. It's like, if you were that big, it's like, holy shit, I got like 30-40 grand of overhead every month. So like, I better pull in like at least $100,000 worth of sales every month. And I'm like, that's stressful. Like, that must be really stressful.
Yeah.
Versus us, it's like we're like more laid back, enjoying life more. But
yeah, it's hard to know, isn't it? But I'd love to just everyone's accounts all be open, and you could just like go in and see how much money everyone's making.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I know. Can we talk about like how you've brought in the embroidery recently? Because that was like a year or so ago, right? Like, how was that like complemented the studio? And were you turning away those jobs initially, and you're like, I'm turning away so much, I need to bring that in-house?
Yeah, so when I first started the business, I started with screen print, but I've always wanted embroidery. Every time I looked at it, I was like, one day I'm gonna get that. It's just, I just already knew it was a beast of a machine, and it's gonna cost a lot more. It's not something you can just. I guess you could get that little brother press. I mean, the embroidery machine, which I was gonna do initially. I was like, you know what? I might just. You did?
It's not a good idea. You have to. It's like it feels like a nice idea, but you have to jump to the big one. So yeah.
Right. So I was gonna do that. I was gonna do that route, but I was like, wait, you can only do one, and it's like you're limited on what you can do. It's not gonna be you just won't be able to produce as quickly as you would on a industrial machine. So I was like, if I'm already getting bulk pieces in screen print, what if somebody gives me a run of like 30 hats, 50 hats? How am I going to do that on that brother? It's going to take forever. So I was like, you know what? Just going to hold off on you. Let me just grind it out on the screen print side, make a little bit more change. And then when the time is right, I'll pull the trigger. And last year I was just like, man, I need to add it. It would be a great addition, because I've already got this screen print clientele base built out. And honestly, the screen print client base is the same as the embroidery client base, because once you add embroidery, it's like, oh, hey, we also offer embroidery. And it's like, it's not like you're starting from scratch, because you already have that client base built. So I think that's like the good, safe route, is build out that first initial base screen print side. And then I was like, okay, it kind of feels right to me. So I was going to get a single head machine, but then I opted for the 2-head for the same reason, because I was like, if I'm getting 50 shirt orders here, what if somebody gives me a 50 hat order? It's like, that's going to take me like 3-4 days just to even do one order. It's like, that's not realistic. So I was like, let me at least get the 2-head. So I pulled the trigger. I mean, this machine has a great finance rate. It's like, you just pay monthly, and it's like, the machine just pays for itself. So it's like, it's been a win-win, and screen print and embroidery just go hand in hand. It's like, it's amazing.
Yeah, and it's also not a steep learning curve, is it? I always say this, but how did you find it? Did you struggle with it a little bit?
I definitely struggled with it. I wouldn't. there was definitely a little bit of a learning curve, like densities, digitizing, like hats were tough because I'd often get like loss of registration on hats, and it's like the same thing with screen print. You get loss of registration there too, so it's like they still go hand in hand, but with some trial and error, you start to get it down. I'm still learning. I'm no professional at it still, but now I've basically got it.
Well, Bav, you're a professional at it because you you are a professional at it technically, so you can't say that.
Okay, I am, but
You're like an expert. That's what.
yeah, but there was definitely a learning curve to it a little bit, but it's nothing you can't handle. But it was tough because like sometimes I would run into like issues in the embroidery machine, and it was like I need to screen print and I need to get these orders out. It was just super stressful, but we're it's all a part of the journey, huh?
Yeah, because you do take on like challenging jobs like that. I watched that video where you're printing on those horrible bags. I'm just going to call them the horrible bags, the red ones.
Oh
They're
yeah,
probably like
yeah.
scarred in your head. I think it was like
Oh
6
my
months ago or
God.
something. Like,
Oh my God, yeah.
what made you take that job on? Was it good in the end? Like, would you do you give that advice to like try challenging stuff or to just leave it alone? Or
That job was funny. The client reached out to me and they were like, "We have 100 of these nylon bags." It was something like waterproof and everything, and they were like, "We've called every screen printer. They said they can't do it." And then they came to me and I was like, "Can you bring me the bag? I would like to see it." And
yeah.
then then I looked at it, I was like, doesn't seem that hard. So I was like, let's do like a test run. Let me do one and see how it comes out. I'll show you it and everything goes. If everything looks good, we'll move forward. So I did one for them. I called my one of my buddies up, Nick Wood. He works for screenprint.com. At the time he did. He sold me my original screen print set right here.
Mm.
So I called him up. I was like, do you have any advice for this? Like what ink I could use, like what type of anything. And then he gave me a link to like an additive and everything. It's all in the video, and I tried that out and did my print on there, and it turned out well. So, but the thing you have to be very careful for with those is like don't over flash it or else it's gonna melt.
No.
And like, but hindsight, I don't regret doing the job, but it definitely wasn't the most fun. But I got it done. No bags messed up. Fingers crossed. I was begging no bags messed up because when she showed me the retail price on those bags, I was like, why did I take
like,
this job?
whose responsibility is that if you mess it up? Like, I've always felt like I kind of try and do a bit of a disclaimer, like if I mess one of these up, it's not my fault, but then you feel it is your fault, like if you were to. But
yeah, I definitely, yeah, it's like whose fault really is it? Because it was like $100 or so dollars each bag, and I was like, so if I mess this up, I guess it's my fault, but like, do I have to replace the bag or something?
Is it your fault if I didn't say I knew how to do this? You're just saying that you can print the job. I think that's really tricky, but probably something we should have in writing. Like,
it's a sticky situation.
Yeah. So like with all this kind of like transition of being like, you were very small and now you've kind of got more equipment and you're running more like a business. Like, how does it work in the US where you're like self-employed to having a more structured company and like that type of thing? Like, how have you dealt with that? Are you still kind of self-employed or?
Yeah, so before I didn't do anything. I wasn't anything. I wasn't like I think you guys call it sole trader. I guess that's what I was, sole proprietor. But then I did my LLC and everything, which is a limited liability company. And then with that, you just register yourself as an official business and everything, and then just go from there.
So that's better because then if anything went wrong, it's the company's problem, not directly yours.
Yeah.
Like they can't come after you.
Yeah. But then again, I don't know if anybody's ever sued a screen print shop. Has they? I don't know.
I bet they fucking have. I bet they have. Yeah, they definitely.
Probably. But yeah, that's what I just did is LLC, and just been going from there. Now I'm trying to look to hire a accountant on board and then have discussions with them every month.
Yeah.
Just to help out, especially because now we have like a storefront and everything, more overhead, and like I want the most benefits when it comes to taxes and stuff.
Yeah. No, like I would, that is, do you know when people say like, oh, what would you invest 10K in your business? Accountant, like first thing. They offset costs. They get you, like, they let you know about grants that you didn't know about. We've got something called VAT. I don't know if you have VAT, where you charge 20% to the customer and then you have to get it back for the government and pay it to the government. No.
Tax?
If we sell 100 quid's worth of product, we have to add 20% on, and then we have to save that 20% and give it to the government.
Yeah. Are you talking about tax?
One type of tax.
Yeah, you guys. So UK has 20% tax. I was just there. My cousin had a wedding there. And you guys have 20% tax. That's
it gets worse than that. So as a limited company, 20% of our profits also go to the government. So we've got to think about we've got to think about corporation tax, business rates, which is it's so many different taxes. It's unreal. I don't know how anyone keeps it in their heads.
It's so crazy. It's so crazy. That's why I definitely want to have I guess accounting is definitely not my strong side. It's like my weakest side. So I definitely want to start delegating that type of stuff over.
Yeah. Because we were talking about that the other day. We're like, oh, okay, so we're only really a 2-person team. But then we're thinking, no, we're more like a 6-person team, because we've got like someone helping us with our videos now. We've got accountant, bookkeeper, like there's actually quite a lot of people. Like, do you have certain people that you delegate out artworking to, or you said about your digitizing, or you trying to give that work over to other people?
Yeah, so for digitizing, I use Graphic Source. I just started I just did not want to learn digitizing. It just looks, I just didn't want to learn it. I just don't even want to do it. I'd rather just chip it out. And then my screen print side, I did start chipping that stuff out. So when it comes to like vectors or separations, I chip it out to somebody in Indonesia. And believe it or not, I met him through YouTube.
Oh, really?
In the beginning stages, he was a viewer. He commented, he was like, yo, we should talk, or we should network, or we should message. And I was like, yeah, message me on Instagram. And then this guy's like a full-blown wizard when it comes to separations and stuff. So now I just send it all to him, and he just knocks it out of the park and just sends it right back to me. And it's been like the best connection I've made, especially through YouTube.
Yeah. No, yeah. But do you get bombarded with all the digitizer guys in general, like constantly?
Oh yeah, they're so annoying.
But then you're thinking, wait, my mate is a digitizer guy, so is he doing that like to other printers? But I don't know. It's hard, isn't it? Because you kind of got to like work with them. But then are they the same people who are hassling you day to day? Like,
yeah, it's like
calling and messaging.
It's like you get the calls, you get the DMs, you get everything. And then let's not forget the DMs from like people from clothing manufacturers.
Yeah, I know.
What I've started doing is just blocking them, just one by one, block. Once I see it, just block. I just don't want to deal with these.
Have you noticed that they use profile pictures of like really hot women and men and stuff?
Yeah,
it's like,
that's
I know
funny.
You don't look like this. It's like catfishing.
Whose identity did you steal? Yeah.
It's wrong on so many levels.
It's so wrong.
I know. It must work on someone. There's some like creepy guy going, oh, I might be in there with this hot model. I don't know what's happening there. Yeah. So it's so tricky with you because you've got so many different things to work on. But like in an ideal circumstance, in like 5 years, say, when you've given yourself a bit of room, would you rather be working all on no grind, no glory, or would you rather be like one of the big print shops that just does loads of customer jobs? Or do you need a hybrid? Or
It's a good question. I would want to master both. That's my goal, is to like actually be able to like run both of them.
Mm.
So my 5 year goal is obviously to get an auto. That's something I want like ASAP. So I want an auto, and then obviously I want to like start building a team around the custom side of things where they can start helping me produce these orders. And then obviously the clothing brand side, a clothing, I think you can make more money on the clothing brand side, because if you become like that world, like a good brand that can produce not just in the retail side, but like online e-commerce, and you're like shipping these orders out, it's like you could be shipping out hundreds and hundreds of t-shirts every day and making a retail profit on it
Mm.
versus a wholesale profit. So it's
Yeah.
like, where do you want to like put your energy into? All this for the past 6 years, I've put my energy into the wholesale side. I've grown it this much, but like, what would have happened if I would have put my all of my energy into growing a brand? I could have been selling loads of orders, because the original reason I started what I'm doing now is to produce my own apparel, produce for my own brand. But then obviously you run into the custom side of things, and then people asking you to do this, do that. And then I just somehow got caught up into like, hey, I'm a custom apparel printer, I can print for you, etc. But now I'm really trying to lean into building my own brand, because that has always been my dream, is to like have my own brand and like build my own brand and like
Mm.
be a clothing brand and like fashion. I've always been into it. So that's always been the dream. And I'm gonna start focusing on that dream as well
Yeah.
as the custom side.
Yeah. Because it feels like you don't want to let go of all that stuff you built with Aesthetic Imprints, but
Right.
it is trainable.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people can take orders, they can break down artwork for you, they can print it, they can ship it. All those things are things that you can teach someone to do, but your clothing brand isn't something that you can teach, really. It's kind of like it's literally coming from you and your ideas and your passions and stuff. So yeah, maybe training like a group to do Aesthetic Imprints, but like overseeing. Yeah, they could go in so many different ways. I'm very excited to keep watching the YouTube to see like
it's
how
tough
it
because
goes.
yeah, it's tough because on the brand side, it's not just like you print the product and you throw it on the website, that's it, and customers are just gonna come. You really gotta like market it now. And now you gotta like create content. It's like, okay, I've built Aesthetic Imprints and got this much of a following on Instagram or YouTube with that. Now it's like start all over and do this brand side. It's like, oh, do I want to do this? But like, yes, I do want to do it. It's like, so let's go. But I don't want this Aesthetic Imprints company that I've grown. It's like my baby now. I don't want to kill that. I don't want to like starve it to death. So it's like, come on, let's both just carry both of them and just take it both with me.
Yeah. It's a real challenge, but it's like, personally, we haven't ever really promoted our clothing brand. We've kind of just like put the pictures up when we've got them, but we've never done like a photo shoot or paid for advertising or anything like that. We sell in real person, but that's kind of what you're doing as well. So you have that way of selling.
So do you sell out of the studio?
No, we sell. There's a local shop that holds a couple of rails. So there's one.
Okay.
The website, but that's mainly people who've seen it in real life and then go, oh, okay, I'll buy it on your website. And then there's like monthly markets which come and go with the seasons. Like, so it might be like there's events, special events that we attend. So
see, that takes so much time out of your day to even prioritize things like that over your custom side, because like that's eating into your time, right?
Kind of, but the shop is like, I'd say it's 2 hours a month. Like, we went and did our shop count today and it was like not even 2 hours, it was probably an hour. You just put it in, they sell it for us, take a commission. That's like no effort at all. But it ticks over because they're doing all the selling and everything. The market store, I get it. It's about 6 hours a month because you're there for 6 hours trading. But again, it's just load the van, go do it, come back. And it's one hit and it's a really nice, intense burst of money and stuff. And then what's the other one? The website is hard. Because we don't do advertising and stuff, it doesn't really generate that much. So not really.
Would you want to start doing more online sales for
Probably.
Blind Maggot?
Yes, but it means I feel like we have to do that thing that you're just saying, like start all over again, do videos, figure out how to sell the t-shirts and not just selling them, making the t-shirts. It feels like a whole new thing, but
it does. It's tough, but like, I think you can make it happen.
yeah, it's just never been the concentration, because like we want to do teaching videos and stuff, like how you want to, like you've only got so many hours in the day and you're filling them up now. So how are you gonna? It's like how do you concentrate on more stuff? Yeah. Can we talk about like YouTube again? Like, are there any like videos or like mistakes that you made making the videos that you'd like deter other people from doing, even if it's something simple like? Do you do all the editing and stuff yourself as well? Like, how have you figured all that out? Yeah.
Yep, I do. So deter them from,
well, a lot of people have like walls up about how to get started. Do you think it's just start talking to camera, edit it in the most basic way?
Started on YouTube, like start making content.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that would actually tie into what I said earlier. Remember how I said, so most people don't start YouTube because they're scared of what people around them are going to say about them making that video. They're going to look stupid on camera or something. It's like, no, just go super MIA, just go ghost and like make the video, but just don't tell anybody you're making the video. Let the YouTube algorithm do its own thing and let it grow organically. Don't tell any of your family members, don't tell anybody, because what that eliminates is the self-doubt and the self-pity of like, what if they're judging me watching this video? It's like, don't tell anybody about the videos. Just post the videos, let it organically grow, and don't tell anybody, and just see where it goes from there, because that just takes the embarrassment out of it. I don't know if I'm explaining it the best way.
I think you are. Yeah.
But like, people are just always scared of what people around them are going to say. And I was too. I mean, it's like everyone is, but it's like, you know what? What if you just eliminate that entire risk in and of itself and just don't tell anybody? So that's what I did, is just started making content. The way I started was, it was just from my phone. So I grabbed my phone. Till this day, I use my phone, believe it or not. So I just grabbed my phone, record the day in a life. What am I doing in the day? Oh, we got this order to do. We got to wash these screens. We got to do this. Just talk to the camera and do this, and then just post the video, but don't tell anybody. If you're scared of what people are going to say or judge you or anything, just eliminate that risk in and of its own and just produce the content and let YouTube organically do its thing. And it worked out pretty good for me. And I'm happy I did it that way, because it's like you're just eliminating any risk.
Have you found like the big suppliers are starting to contact you now about like the Monarch ink and that type of thing? Like, are they trying to say like, oh, can you show this in your video, and like sponsorships and things like that? Is that happening yet? Or
kind of. So Monarch ink actually didn't reach out to me. That was just me organically ordering and buying the products myself. And because I just heard so much things about Monarch ink, especially from the shirt show, and like a lot of people using it. And I was like, you know what? Let me invest in a new ink mixing system and get this thing and try it out, and then document my journey on YouTube. So that's what I love to do. So I just got that, documented it. They didn't send me that or even communicate with me about that. But I just started doing that. And honestly, I love that ink. It's been an awesome ink. The opacity and everything has been great. But there's obviously some people that will reach out to you like, let me send you this and just make a video out of it. It's like, I don't say yes to that, because it's like, I don't want to be those influencers that just take your product and make a video just to like promote it or like get money from it. It's like, I'm only going to use your product if I like it. I'm not going to just make a video out of it, post it, and then never use the product and just lie to the audience like that. It's like, I just really want to be genuine with the people on my YouTube channel.
Yeah, I've had the same experience. Everything that someone sent me that I didn't request, has always been a bit naff and I didn't want to show it.
Yeah.
But then I just showed the things that I've actually physically used and used a lot of and I love.
Mm-hmm.
Show that and then that works.
Right.
Yeah, it's tricky though, because I can see why people
Right,
do get suckered into it, especially new people who've got like the studio looks great and then they get sucked into some of the big distributors. It's weird that no one's like none of the big guys have reached out and just like, I'd give you ink if I was Monarch Ink, knowing the consistency of the videos and all that. It all ties in.
So I appreciate that. Well, I guess it's like goes both ways. I don't really reach out to anybody. I just make the content. I'm not really trying to be that type of person. If I like your product, I'll definitely try it out. But I've definitely had some people reach out to me and say, hey, we're going to send you this emoji and just make a video out of it. It's like, well, hey, how are you? Like, it's like, I'm not just going to like, I don't even use your emoji, first of all. And you want me to make a video out of it and I don't know anything about it. It's like, no.
Yeah, that'll take you a whole day or more than that to do all the filming and stuff.
Right.
But
it's like, it's not even worth it. It's like, you're just sending me one emoji and you want me to make a whole video out of it.
Yeah. But some people are doing videos for freebie stuff and it doesn't make sense long term. Because like, how are you making money off that? Like, you can't get paid in ink. Yeah, it's like getting paid in sweeties as a child. I just don't understand the model. But
I just try to keep it as organic as it gets and just keep it real.
Yeah.
If I don't like something, I just say it.
Yeah. I think that really comes across with your stuff. I feel the pressure of your day getting like you've got so much going on. I feel like I'm keeping you, but yeah. Do you want to like say any like shop hack or anything that you've figured out? Did you get around to thinking about something like that?
No specific shop hack. I guess a shop hack I would have is when you have when you're starting out and you don't have the best press, off contact can be a tricky thing. So this press, it's good, but I got a new press for the new shop. But this press, the off contact can be tricky. So my trick is grab like a few business cards and like tape it to the edge of the screen. So that way when the screen comes down, it's like, let's say this is the palette and then the screen comes down. There's a little bit of space because you're putting that business card. So it's forcing some off contact to happen. So when your press can't like have a good off contact, that's a good trick I've been using.
Yeah. Okay. Just build it in. Build the off contact in so you don't have to be messing around.
Just build it in. Yeah. just build it in. Yep.
That probably saves a lot of people who gradually have their screens getting crapper and crapper as well. Like their tension is just going lower and lower. And then they start having shitty prints. So just I mean, it's not ideal, but it's like it's a way of getting around it, right? So yeah.
I'm excited for the new shop. I'm really trying to. It's really going to be a whole new setup. I'm really trying to just dig in and like make it like a smooth manual print shop where everything is in order. Everything can be smooth. A new press. I'll give you an inside look. I got the Anatole Thunder press 8x8.
Oh, right, yeah.
So I'm excited for that press. It's just been sitting in my garage for the past
that's
3 months. Oh my god, I've just been looking at it. It's been torture. It's like, but I need to. So hopefully this week or early next week, I can get all this equipment moved into the new shop and
Yeah, but it goes with your branding as well, bright red, right? So
it does.
So it's like, okay, I don't even have to spray it before I put it up. It's like all matching with your logos and everything. Yeah,
it is gonna match.
That's cool. I'm just gonna keep watching Baav because you're so consistent that it's like every week it seems like every week you're putting out a new video, so everyone can just follow you anyway. So
this past month hasn't been the most consistent, but yeah, once I'm set up in there, it's definitely going to be right back to the usual videos. How's your M&R Cruiser?
Beautiful. I love it. I've done videos on just the Cruiser. I've seen them. Yeah, I get asked all the time about that, and it's just mainly because my main supplier is the supplier of M&R, but I couldn't see any other ones to go for because we just got different people.
Right.
I don't know if we've got Anatole over here. We're probably full of shit. We probably do, but yeah. But yeah.
So
just perfect.
do you see automation here anytime soon for you?
It
Or
definitely depends. It definitely. I'm definitely always going to keep my manual 100% because I like all of the playing around stuff like high builds and crazy metallics and all of the really unusual stuff. And you can't really teach on an automatic like you can with the videos.
Yeah.
You can't be like, press this setting and then you pull the shirt off. It's pretty boring. That would be like, that's like one video, right? I don't know. Maybe there's so much more to it than I'm probably just being a bit mean.
Yeah, the viewers can't relate as much because they obviously wouldn't have that auto. Yeah.
You're just talking about heat management for like 5 videos straight. No, I'll always keep my manual. But if we move into another premises, then I'll get a small auto, but just to keep up with production for Blind Maggot, but not really to do it for other people. So I'd never go crazy and have multiples or anything like that.
So what is your split, would you say, Blind Maggot versus people, like percentage-wise? Would it be like 80-20, 50-50?
No, it's probably like 90-10 now, Blind Maggot and 10% people. I literally just do my friends, which is really harsh. If they're like a good friend from a local business, I know they're going to be a piece of cake to work with. There's no aggro. Some people just send me a box and I'm like, okay, what is the image on this? One email image, one email for the invoice, done.
Okay.
They're the ones that I work with. I don't do any new customers.
Has your business always been like that? Or did you used to do more custom?
It's really changed. So I started as an open access studio for artwork, flatbed printing for like posters. And then I realized this is a hell of a lot of work for hardly any like money because you can only have 4 people in. It was just very, very difficult. Like you're running around after all these artists and they all want a lot of attention. So I phased that out, figured out that T-shirt printing is the most fun thing that you can ever do. So then that kind of took over. I got rid of some of my presses and then the commercial work just grows, doesn't it? It's not like you're inviting it. It's just like, oh, I should probably be advertising that I do that. And then it just snowballs. And then the previous customers come back for the next year and then you just got like.
What's the best shop hack you've learned to say no to the orders that you don't want?
That was a switch in my mentality. Just reading a lot of books and realize that the best one is Magna Colours. He does like Profit First, the Orange, the Pumpkin Patch, all of his books, because they tell you that like if you look back at the last 10 jobs that you've done and you actually do the maths on which ones were profitable, you can actually see a couple in there that you actually lost money on.
Yeah.
But if you don't go back and look, they can suck you down. And then at the end of the year, you're like, God, where's all my profit gone? And then, but people don't realize they're getting eaten up by all that like turnover. And they think, oh, if I make 100K turnover, 200K, the more turnover I make, the more profit I get. Right. And it's not like that. So we're doing a lot less turnover, but we're making more profit. So reading Magna Colours was the biggest turning point, I think. You seem like a guy who likes inspirational quotes and mentors and stuff.
I do.
So yeah,
I do like quotes and reading. I haven't had the most reading done here lately, but I need to get back to it.
I could be geeky. I can be geeky and tell you my favorite ones that really like made something click and changed my mind.
Go for it.
Yeah. I'll DM you some stuff, but you might be like, for God's sake, you're really rolling your eyes like, yeah, I get it. But
no, I love that stuff.
Yeah. Em said to ask you, like, when you're doing your videos, what are you listening to on your AirPods, or are you listening to yourself? That was just a funny question.
Are you talking about when I have my AirPods in
your YouTube videos? He's like, what is he listening to?
So
I know
I'm
it's
not
yourself,
listening to
but
anything. So the funny thing with that is before I used to just have my phone and just record, right? And then I started getting comments like, bro, your mic sucks. Can you get a mic or something? And it's like, okay, I don't have a mic right now, but I do have AirPods and that might work. So let me
yeah.
put these in, see if that works, see if you guys can hear me a little bit better. And it worked a little bit better. So I just started doing that, and then I got a mic now and stuff. So that's why the audio is a little bit better. But that's mainly what it was for, is just so you guys can hear me.
Oh, okay. We're joking. Like, is he listening to Drake while he's talking and telling us this stuff? But yeah, that's quite funny.
That's funny. That's what a lot of people probably think.
Yeah. But I've never seen like a YouTube channel. I might be wrong, and you might be deleting stuff, or you might have like your own battles with it. But you're saying like people being harsh on YouTube comments and stuff. But I don't see that with your channel. I see a lot of positivity, and it seems like everyone's being really nice. Is that the way that you see it? Or
yeah, that's exactly how it is. I mean, it's crazy the support and the love that I've been getting on YouTube, and like the engagement alone. It's like the comments are always super supportive, and that's why I reply to each and every one of them. It's like, the comments are awesome. Like, I rarely get any like bad comment. It's like, I'm grateful for it. So it's like, I love the community that I've built on there. And that's why I try to keep giving them back like raw and content and stuff. That's why I'm trying to document everything, because like they're giving so much to me and supporting me. So let me support them and give them the content that they like. Which I don't know how people want to watch me, but like, okay, let's do it.
I think it's authenticity, because there isn't any like weird like facade, or like there isn't anything there. So people can just literally connect with you. So yeah, I think you're doing an amazing job.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. There was actually one bad comment, but
who is it? Let's go and troll him. Like, we can all go troll him together. And who is it?
It was on like a post of me saying new video coming soon, and then he was just like, I think he thought like me. I think it was just some hate towards me getting a shop and like growing. He was just like, wow, it's nice to see somebody start above water, like not like the rest of us who have to build a business from the ground up. I'm like, have you not seen the videos of me building this business from the ground up? Because somehow they thought this whole business was given to me from my parents, which none of it was. I mean, they're doing their own thing, a whole separate thing, and I'm doing my own thing. So I was like, but then somebody else jumped into that same comment and supported me.
That's the funniest thing to see. It's kind of like lions in like Africa or something, and you're like, oh, someone's coming after me, but no, just let all the hyenas like go and attack them for you. Like, I wanted to just jump on that, and I didn't even know what the comment was. That's so funny. Just let your followers kill them instead.
But 99%, it's always love on there. That's why I love that platform.
Yeah, it's probably just 1% jealousy anyway, and they just don't understand. Link back to video number 1, and then they'll see what it's all about.
It's all right. That's what the content is for everyone to look back. So like, even when this happens in the future, they'll have the videos to look back on. Yeah. And I if anybody is watching this, I highly recommend start documenting your process on YouTube. I mean, you never know where it can go. And even if it doesn't go anywhere, it's a good video log for you to look back at. Let's say when you're 10, 20 years later, for you to look back on at like 20 years younger you. It's going to be really cool to look at. That's what I'm excited for. It's like when I'm like 50 years old and I can look back at this, it's going to be a cool memory, because I'm not going to remember it all, but like the videos will make me remember it all, and seeing everything will be cool. Yeah.
From 17 or something to like 50, it's going to be insane. Yeah. I'm going to have to like remind you that I did this podcast with you in a few years, so that you come on again, and with your big shop and all the employees coming and bringing you coffee and stuff.
No, of course I'll come on.
Thank you so much, Baav.
Thank you so much.